Hey, this is Shawn from Supermodel Taxidermy, and I've been trying to get this done for Antichrist magazine for a while, so I'm pretty excited that we get to make this finally happen. So we're a crossover punk metal thrash band based out of Canada, and we've just released our second album to fill you guys in for who might not have heard us yet. If you're a fan of anybody in between Suicidal Tendencies, Municipal Waste, DRI, The Hints of Slayer, just check us out. We might be for you. So the meaning behind the band name, Supermodel Taxidermy, just came as an idea of a big F you to society and anybody who thought that this is the projected way to make people think that you need to follow our trends, you need to buy into our fashion. Well, that's not what this band's about. We're about being yourself. So we figured if we're gonna put our ugly heads out in this society, we're gonna give them a supermodel taxidermy to really look at and focus into. So, you know, play on words, but it's a pretty cool name too. Our latest album, At What Cost, was just released this year. We put it out with Punishment 18 Records, and our album art was done by Andrei Buzukov. I'm sure a lot of you in the scene know who he is. He's done things for Municipal Waste, Toxic Holocaust, Our Boys Time Out in Canada, Hazard. There's quite a list, skeleton which he's pretty infamous. Check him out. But the album revolves around a lot of questions that can be asked in society. And like if one person themselves are looking inward, whether or not there's a cause or effect to what you're doing in life. We hit some heavy topics: drug use, prostitution. It goes on and on. It's pretty heavy subject matter, but the end result of what we push is a silver lining, asking a question of how it can be changed. So it's a 10-song LP. It's just 30 minutes, straight to the point. It's very heavy, hard hitting, and fast. So if you're into that thing, you might want to check us out. The lyrics on the album have a lot to do with what I just said. We cover some pop culture type stuff. We took one song and built it around the Stephen King book Pet Sematary. One of our singles we released was called Exorcist for Beer, and that was actually a pretty fun tune. It was based on our drummer's little brother and his antics, and he actually helped write the song. So we brought him into the studio to record vocals on it. In a whole, though, like I said, our lyrics are heavy subject matter. We push a lot of believing in yourself, but we also tend to look at things in society that could be changed. There's one song on there called Clinics, and it has to do with harm reduction. And, you know, in Canada here, we have a lot of clinics set up for free injection sites. I'm not sure if it's the same all over the world, but there's positive and negative to it. So, again, we're just highlighting things when we talk about this stuff, but in the end, man, we hope everybody's doing okay. So the album art cover I talked about a little bit. I'll just skip over that question. And Antichrist Magazine is asking us to share some insight with our cooperation on Punishment 18 Records. For this release, we obviously did digital, but it's out on CD as well, and you can find that at Supermodel Taxidermy, bandcamp.com, or you can go right to Punishment 18 Records. Look for us on any of our socials. Just reach out. We'll get you what you need. Livelihood outside of the music. Music is my life, but it definitely doesn't pay our bills. I am an electrician. The other two guys who are not here today in the band, Mike Cheney and Riley Williams, my bassist / singer and drummer, are at work, so I'm here doing this myself. But they are also in the trades. They are both mechanic welders. So between the three of us, we grinded pretty hard in the factories and on the stage as well. When did I first discover interest in metal music? Well, that was much like a lot of people I would assume in my age group, and the easy stuff caught me. Metallica. And then I found Slayer, my ultimate favorite band. Pantera. I just kind of evolved. Megadeth. All of it kind of brought us to what you guys would consider the big bands. Like, don't get me wrong, I love my death metal, Cannibal Corpse, and all that, but me, I am a punk rocker at heart who loves to play metal. So amalgamating the two into the music that we do was such an easy choice for me. I may not have said this in the beginning, but I'm the front man of the band. I do sing and play the guitar. What obstacles have we faced as musicians, and how do we overcome them? Well, I think it's no different than anybody else who's tried this. A lot of the struggles are crafting your art, and once you've honed into what you believe is going to work, finding the bandmates, becoming the team, and it's family. Like, if you're not relying on each other to support you every bit of the way, it's not going to work, because it's a dog-eat-dog world out there. But getting our name out there, just grinding it out with other bands in our scene and playing shows was a big undertaking, but once you kind of find your niche and get your way in, I think it's 100% growth from there. So keep at it. How do I perceive the evolution of metal music over the years? Well, for me, it comes and goes in waves. I am, I guess you could say, old school, tube amp, guitar, microphone, and just go. I love to have a drummer pounding it behind me and the thumping bass beside me. There's not much any other aspects that we need as a band to push our attitude when we're playing music, but I have seen waves of this come, and the evolution's pretty neat to watch people incorporate screamo with clean vocals, or even maintaining the growls, or keeping a punk rock attitude and just pushing your value into the microphone while shredding on the guitars. For me, I like to look at bits and pieces of it all and just realize that it's my genre. There's nothing wrong with any of it. I love it all. Okay, so here's a rapid fire question section, just for fun. My thoughts on AI art? Don't do it. My thoughts on AI are pretty much the same way. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but in the end, I think the system somehow will or can crash, and what's the good in that? But to take something you've created, such as an album, and put so much time and effort into it, and then spit a piece of AI art on top of it, I don't think you're doing yourself any justice. I think that music itself is an art, and you should represent that with the creation of your being, your idea. Push it, sell it, find yourself an artist, do it yourself, but I'm not one for AI, so I'm just going to step out right there. Most memorable concert I've attended. Back in the day when Pantera was still Pantera and the boys were all living, I watched Slayer open up for them. I was probably 20 years old, but that was one of my most memorable concerts ever, just because those were two of the people that, two of the bands that put me onto what I like to do today. And the greatest music album of all time. That's a tough question. That's a real tough question. But being a Slayer fan, I'm going there. And I'm not going to give you Rain and Blood like everybody else would say. I think South of Heaven was an absolute masterpiece. Yes, it was slower. Hell, it was heavier. But the dynamic that band brought into creating it was just absolutely brilliant. And hats off to them, because that, I think, is the greatest album of all time. So my favorite non-rock / metal song? I don't even know. Depends where you're putting me in a scenario, but normally if I'm driving in my car listening to music, it's an instant just turn that off and there goes the CD to something I like to hear. I don't know. I guess CCR was something I grew up to through my parents. So when that band comes on, I'll tend to not turn it off and listen to their music. It's not really a inspiration for me, but I can get behind it. So, future plans for Supermodel Taxidermy is the last question. And woohoo, sorry about that. Our band is wanting to go to Europe. I recently just got back from a trip over there. I made some contacts, and whether or not they pull through, our aim is to play overseas. So if you are in the know or want this band to come play in your city, reach out. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Supermodel Taxidermy, on Bandcamp, or just email us, supermodeltaxidermy@gmail.com. If you want us to come see you, contact us, because we are absolutely all about that. And for everyone else out there, stay metal, and hopefully we'll see you soon.